Welcome back to the channel, Have Roots, Will Travel. My name is Lisa Elvin Stoltari, and I am a genealogist and a passionate traveler. For the last several years, I've been focusing, and this channel has been focused on les filles du roi and les filles mariées. Today, we are focused on les filles mariées, and we're trying to get to know their stories, and we're traveling with them, essentially from France to New France, and really trying to get to know how they did it. And it's often an extraordinary and fascinating story of Quebec and of North America. Now, in Les Filles Mariées, there are about 262 of them, and we are on episode 74. So we've come a ways, still got a long way to go. Before we begin, let me show you ways you can support the channel. The first three keep you in the know: subscribe, like, and notify. And the next couple are ways to help the channel grow. We have Coffee and Patreon, which are external platforms. And we also have a super thanks button on the YouTube. And on my website, Have Roots Will Travel, we have a PayPal button as well. I also want to mention, those of you who want to see the other episodes easy, I have an index on there that is alphabetical and so easily searchable with a link to it. So please have a look at that if you're looking for a particular fille du roi or fille mariée. So let's get started, shall we? Let's talk about les filles mariées, the marriageable girls. Look at those dates, 1634 to 1662. These were incredible women. They came when there wasn't even a country. There was just really a lot of land. And those who came in the 1630s truly are the bravest of the brave. But what happened was there was only about 262 of them. And so it averaged out over a 28-year cycle to about 10 a year. And that wasn't enough to populate a country. So les filles mariées were replaced by a government program where the gals were given money and all of that. Les filles mariées were not given any kind of gift. They were their passage usually was paid by someone, but it wasn't. And they didn't come in groups of 100. They came in groups, sometimes not at all, one, and sometimes they came two or three, that sort of thing. And they certainly were independent and very, very brave. So we want to honor les filles mariées because these are truly the founding. So today, les filles mariées, episode 74, Françoise, Jobin. And it's my delight to answer this from a viewer request. Let's get to know Françoise a little bit better. So she was born in 1641 in Amfreville-sous-les-Monts in France. Her parents were Jacques Jobin and Marguerite Roy. Now, she is from the region of France known as Normandy, and her département is Eure. There are about 540 people that live in this small community. The Église Saint-Michel is from the 16th century, so we are thinking that this is where she would have been baptized at. New France extremely early. She came in 1652, and she would be housed at Trois-Rivières at the home of Sir Jean Langto. Her uncle Jean was already there, and her brother Charles would follow her a decade later. Now, the groom that she selected and who selected her, his name Pierre d'Andonneau de la Jeunesse, and he was born in 1624 in Neuilly-sur-Mer in France. His parents were Jacques d'Andonneau and Isabelle Fay. He was baptized in the Protestant church at La Rochelle. Neuilly-sur-Mer is about 5 minutes from La Rochelle in the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region as part of the Charente-Maritime département. There are about 6,000 people that live in this small community. For a long time, it was a wine village, and Neuilly-sur-Mer produced La Rochelle wine, which is widely exported to the countries of the north. At the end of the 19th century, following the loss of all the vines, the town then turned to the sea through fishing and oyster farming. It just keeps on keeping on. Now, he worked as an indentured servant when he came to New France for Jean Godefroy, the Sire de Langto, and by 1652, he had received a grant at Trois-Rivières. So I'm thinking that this Sire de Langto played a part in connecting the dots of Françoise and of Pierre. On January 16, 1653, they were married at Trois-Rivières. Now, Trois-Rivières is only the second settlement of New France. We had Quebec and then Trois-Rivières. I mean, it's really an old place. And it was named Trois-Rivières because of the St. Maurice River that has three channels that form at the mouth of the St. Lawrence River. Trois-Rivières is French for three rivers. It was known as Three Rivers by the English for a long time in North America. But as the French regained control of their province in the 1960s and 70s during the Quiet Revolution, the English started calling it Trois-Rivières out of respect. It was always called Trois-Rivières in French, of course. Trois-Rivières has a very strategic location on the St. Lawrence River, and that helped the new nation to grow and prosper. It also proved to be an important battle in the American Revolution. Now it's called the Battle of Three Rivers. Some of you who have ancestors in this area at that time might be surprised at who would qualify for admission to the daughters or sons of the American Revolution. So we see here in the 1666 census, we have Pierre and Françoise, we have Louis, Jeanne, Marguerite, Marie, Etienne, Françoise, and then they have a domestic named Jean Langlois, and he is working for them. Now in the 1667 census, we have Pierre. Now he's also called Le Sœur du Sablé, so he has gone up in the world, if you will. And then we have Françoise, we have Louis, Jeanne, Marguerite, Marie-Renée, Antoinette, Françoise, Louise. The domestics are now Jacques Fouille, Vincent, Guillaume de Noyon. They have three beasts or cattle, and then they have 8 arpents valeurs, about 6 acres of land. So it's interesting to note that some of the people are not listed. You might want to look at the difference in the census and see who is added and who is not there. We have Françoise is there, but Antoinette and Marie-Renée. So it's one of those things where you kind of look through it and say, what they were missed. So you always want to take all census, whether they're Canadian, Quebec, or American. You want to take the census with not necessarily a grain of salt, but you want to realize that these were written not for the purpose of genealogy, but it was done out of, a government thing, and so it wasn't always accurate. So we want to always verify. They would eventually move to Champlain, and the Champlain municipality lies on the former seigneuries of Marsolet and L'Arbre-à-la-Croix, which were granted in 1644, and the seigneury of Champlain was finally granted in 1664. The first French occupants of Champlain settled in 1664. They had been a first attempt to settle on the land in 1643, but the distance from other settlements and the Iroquois threat discouraged the settlement. In 1664 or 1665, the first settlers established the settlements in the land of the Seigneury of Champlain. The following year, in 1666, concessions were granted in the Seigneury of Hertel, and in 1667 in the Seigneury of Marsolet. Some of the first families from Trois-Rivières, such as les Desrosiers, les Charelles, and les Dardonnais. These are the true pioneers of this region, as well as Quebec. They would go on to have 11 children. Louis would marry Jeanne Marguerite Lenoir and have 3 children, all of whom made it to adulthood. Jeanne would marry Jacques Baby and have 7 children, 6 of whom would make it. Marguerite would marry Jacques Brisset and have 16 children, 10 of whom would make it. Elizabeth would pass away at 12 years of age. Marguerite would also pass away at 6 years of age. Marie-Renée would marry Adrien Neveu and have 4 children, all of whom made it. Etienne married Pierre Mercereau and had 15 children, but only 6 made it. Françoise Pétronille married Jean Desrosiers and had 8 children, all of whom made it. Marie-Louise married Jean-Joseph Aubuchon and had 9 children, 6 of whom made it to adulthood. Jacques would marry Catherine Dutot and have 3 children, all of whom made it. And we have Françoise Marguerite, who became a nun. So I have that little symbol there. So that's always really nice to see that we know what happened to her. Paul's life would come to an end sometime between 1690 and 1695. He was between 66 and 71 years of age. He and Françoise had been married between 37 to 42 years, a wonderful time period. Françoise would die in 1702 at the age of 61. She would leave an astonishing 285 descendants by 1729 alone. I wasn't able to find a Dandano association. Please let me know if there's a link that I couldn't find. But I did find l'Association des Familles Jobin. So that would definitely be something to investigate as well. And I've provided the links for you if you want to explore. So what can we say about a woman who leaves us with 285 descendants? I mean, that's remarkable. It's remarkable what she did. And I'm just in awe of, her. And it's not just that she was able to make babies and that sort of thing, to keep them healthy, to make sure that they, were able to carry on is part of her duty and obviously part of her work. And there's a little bit of luck in genetics, but there's a lot of making certain that your children are safe. You know what I'm saying? So I think Françoise is truly remarkable, and certainly her husband as well. And the fact that they were true pioneers at Trois-Rivières and also at Champlain is amazing, and they were among the first. So we can really be grateful for them for establishing Champlain and making certain that it was a small community that would grow. And those 285 descendants of Françoise and Pierre, that's as of 1729. So can you imagine? So I am so excited to see who is a descendant of this remarkable lady. So with that, I will bid you adieu, and I will also say thank you to my patrons and supporters and subscribers. Thank you ever so much for always being there for me. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. And with that, I will finally say au revoir until I see you on the next episode of Les Filles à Marier.